Business news now, and Facebook boss Mark Zuckerberg says he takes full responsibility for a plunge in profitability at parent group Meta. Well, that's unlikely to assuage the thousands of employees who were terminated on Wednesday, some 13% of the company's workforce. They're not the only stakeholders nursing a grievance against the high-profile Facebook leader. Investors are also seething after a more than 70% drop in value of Meta shares over the past year. Well, let's cross over to London, where Arise Business correspondent has more on this story and the other business headlines of the day. Laurie, what are the reasons for the cuts?
Put very simply, Meta is no longer making all that much money. It is still making a profit, but it is losing money at a much, much quicker pace than anyone had ever imagined. Remember, this company was almost a licensed to print money. I know that's a cliche, but Facebook for so many years before it was renamed Meta seemed to be able to do absolutely nothing wrong. And remember, when Facebook first became a social media platform that we spoke about, a lot of people said, how on earth will they monetize this thing? Well, they did manage to monetize it through selling advertising. The problem is that we are going into an economic slowdown. Advertisers are pulling in their horns, and so many social media companies are saying this. Microsoft, Google is seeing this. Amazon has said the same thing. Advertisers are pulling in their horns. Facebook has decided to go another way. They are spending an unbelievable amount of shareholder money on the metaverse. This project lost $4 billion in the third quarter alone, and people are worried that Facebook is spending more than it is going to earn in the future.
Well, that's very interesting because, I mean, the metaverse was Mark Zuckerberg's big idea for continuing the growth of the company. And I suppose that's why he says it's his responsibility, but that's not what you say to investors because, I mean, you know, they're seething,
or the 13,000 people who are going to lose their jobs. That's a bit of a cold comfort hearing that Mark Zuckerberg thinks that he made a mistake. Even more, and for more chagrin to these investors, to a certain extent, Mark Zuckerberg is doubling down on his investment in Meta. He has said that what he intends to do is to invest much more in AI, artificial intelligence, whether that regards advertising or other things that he thinks can make Facebook a little bit more marketable. But he is still going on with his dream of creating a metaverse, which is so extremely expensive. So while he said, all my fault, guys, he hasn't gone so far as to say, I'm going to change gears.
Well, let's move away from Mark Zuckerberg and turn to crypto assets, another high failure profile, apparently.
Absolutely, very high profile. This is a trading platform for crypto assets called FTX, and it failed quite spectacularly. Rumors started to circulate over the weekend. This all came to fruition late yesterday, but a number of investors in FTX said that they were going to start to pull their funds, and then things. This is the sort of failure that you see often in the financial world. It goes very, very slowly, and then it happens all of a sudden. It will need to be rescued by a competitive exchange called Binance. Now, Binance was one of the companies that said over the weekend that we're going to start pulling our investments from FTX. So where the cause and the effect here is a little bit uncommon. But I think what has really shaken people, Charles, is that FTX was regarded as one of the better run crypto platforms. The CEO was engaging quite a bit with regulators. He attended a lot of conferences, was seen photographed with Bill Clinton, with Tony Blair. This was considered to be one of the sounder crypto investments.
Right, and I wonder how Bitcoin, for instance, has reacted to this.
Well, and I think honestly, Charles, we always have to look at where Bitcoin goes when we see these failures or successes in the crypto world. Bitcoin is down about 7% today. It was down about 17% yesterday. That sounds like a very, very big move, but I think the fact that Bitcoin has not fallen more, I mean, we're down to, for the price of Bitcoin, almost to a 2-year low, but that isn't out of whack with where we see bond prices or stock prices right now. And I think the fact that Bitcoin continues to hang in, even when we see some very high profile failures in the crypto world, does give a sense that perhaps Bitcoin has a degree of staying power.
Well, let's turn to streaming, the streaming wars, of course, that exerting some collateral damage on Disney Plus.
Yeah, we've talked so much about Netflix and how much they have lost and users that they have lost, although Netflix has begun to turn that around a little bit. But Disney Plus was meant to be one of these great new upstarts in the streaming world. Disney has such a bad back catalog, and we thought the income to generate much more original content. It is losing so very much money on its streaming offering, despite the fact that it is increasing users at a pace that analysts thought they would never achieve, an extra 46 million users in the latest quarter, but at a loss of, Charles, 1.5 billion US dollars at the streaming service alone. That means the Disney profits across the whole group, which includes the main studio, all of the theme parks, or operating profit was only a little over $80 million. Now, $80 million sounds like a lot of money, but that's essentially the pay packet of one individual hedge fund manager at the top of his game. So 83 million for a company as big as Disney is really a very, very poor showing. The shares are down 11% today, down 50% over the past 12 months.
I should have become a hedge fund manager. Laurie, thanks for
You might want to think about it, Charles. And
I might want to think about it. Laurie, thanks very much indeed. Laurie Laird in London.